Hi folks, this is Himanshu. I've been an Art of Living teacher for 17 years. I also run my own AI startup. I have the privilege today to kick off the Art of Living Corporate Program Leadership Series. I have two really cool youngsters sitting next to me, Rohan and Rishabh. They are the founder of the Wellness Co. They are the first ones to bring in biohacking into India. Welcome.
Thank you so much. Thank you for having us. It's a pleasure to be here on this podcast. I believe we're the first guests that you're having on. So very exciting. And yeah, happy to share our thoughts and our insights with your viewers.
Perfect. Thank you so much. So I'm going to go directly into the meat of it, right? I mean, how interesting was it to build a business around biohacking? All three of us are founders, and one of the things that's common being a founder is that you become sort of used to the fact that there's going to be stress, right? And in general, you talk to most folks and they'll come back and say, look, I need rest, right? Mm-hmm. So talk to me about how this entire journey started, right? Bringing in this entire paradigm into India.
Sure.
How did this start?
Sure. So, Rohan and I really started the Wellness Co. with the idea of, let's say, biohacking or health optimization from a kind of a different lens, since we've been lifelong athletes ourselves and we were junior professional tennis players as well, in traveling all around the world, in the US, in Europe, etc. And we were kind of exposed to some of these wellness therapies like we offer now today at the Wellness Co, such as hyperbaric oxygen therapy, cryotherapy, red light therapy, sauna therapy, etc. at an early age. And we always knew that these are very essential for our own personal recovery journeys. They were very helpful in us being able to, let's say, train 4 or 5 hours a day and then also do these sessions so that we can recover well enough to do it again all over again the next day. And on top of this, these therapies have a lot of great benefits for your immunity. They help you with your kind of physical and mental resilience as well. So they're essential for anybody who's, at the kind of limit of productivity, as you can say, at either a personal or a professional level. And so that's kind of the concept that we thought about, especially during the kind of COVID times. We started in 2021, just as COVID was kind of winding down, and people were really looking for what are the best ways and techniques and things that they can do to increase their immunity, to take charge of their health and well-being so that they don't get sick or their families don't get sick, or they can deal with the problems that come from being unwell or having these kind of stressors in the environment and in their own lives. So that's really how we kind of came up with the concept, how it was born, and that's how we started our first center. And it's been a great learning journey for both of us, of course, along the way. And we've added a lot of things. We've kind of refined the concept more and more over the years. So now we've gotten to the point where we're really confident in offering what we believe is a complete, comprehensive complement of holistic wellness therapies and techniques that really help people with all aspects of their health and wellness.
Crazy. So basically, COVID is a very pivotal time to actually start, right? I mean, everyone's sort of worried about health, and you sort of come in with an offering like this. Now, because this is more for the inner work that goes in, I'm going to straight off dive into the fact that some of the therapies have really have a soothing effect, right? Mm-hmm. And you've done that all. And now I think last week you came to the ashram, mm-hmm. experienced a different dimension altogether. Right. Mm-hmm. Can you contrast both of them and what brought you here first?
Sure. Yeah, sure, absolutely. Happy to talk about that. So I think, as Rishabh rightly mentioned, answering your last question, sort of talking about what we do at the Wellness Co, and like he said, it's very tech-driven, and that's sort of what the focus has been, which is what we have also been exposed to this entire time. I'm 30 years old now, he's 27, playing sports all our lives while growing up doing these therapies, and even to this day continuing to do cryotherapy, red light, hyperbaric, or everything else that we offer at the Wellness Co. But that being said, I think it needs to be paired together with some level of spirituality as well. And we've obviously been having this discussion now for quite a while to try to bring in these techniques, whether it's Sudarshan Kriya or whether it's a hedge within the Wellness Co, that people can sort of opt for this as well while they do our therapies also. And just basis on that conversation, we felt that it was the right thing for us to also come to the ashram and try this for ourselves firsthand at sort of the home of where this is being offered. And yeah, it's been quite a wonderful experience for us. We've been here for a couple of days now, tried a lot of different therapies while we've been here, sort of just getting used to what this means and how this works, and then hopefully integrating this into my day-to-day life as I move forward, whether it be through meditation, whether it be through other practices, Ayurvedic practices, whatever it might be. But yeah, I think it ties together really well, and that's what sort of gives you that holistic view of wellness, which is what everybody I think nowadays is chasing.
Was there a trigger was there something which sort of said, ki, okay, I need to do this now?
Yeah, so I mean, for both of us, honestly, this is a aspect of wellness that at the Wellness Co we felt very strongly about since day one, which is mind wellness, as we like to call it, which is various therapies, techniques, or a different kind of health protocol that focuses more on how best a person can deal with stress, can deal with anxiety, can deal with any kind of, mental wellness problems that they're having on a day-to-day basis. Now, these don't have to be, let's say, chronic or acute disorders or illnesses or, let's say, diseases as such. These can be the kind of burdens that people carry on a daily basis, right? A lot of our therapies and the kind of recommendations that our doctors make with regards to physical activity or, making sure that people are getting up from their sedentary lifestyles, are moving around, are taking control of their health, these obviously play a great part of, rejuvenating the mind and getting them back to a better balance. But it's not enough by itself. You do need to kind of combine an element which is specifically curated towards either it's the breath work or it's a meditative practice or a technique that you can use to center yourselves, to calm down the mind, because today the kind of vast majority of clients and people that we see, members of the Wellness Co who are coming, they have all sorts of kind of, health issues or lifestyle problems, and a lot of it does come back and come down to stress. Now, obviously, everyone knowing that Art of Living is a place where it's kind of, founding principles are around the ideas of how people can deal with, navigate around, and actually get, dealt with their stress over a longer and more sustainable period of time. So with that principle in mind, we thought it was a kind of a no-brainer for us to, look at this very seriously as a concept and think about how we can integrate and how we can bring that forward.
No, it's funny that you say this because, I live in Rishikesh. And basically, I meet a lot of yogis there, right? And one of the things that you see there is that there are these saints or sadhaks who are roaming around in January in sub-zero temperatures without wearing a single piece of wool, right? And in some sense, like the cryotherapy is similar in nature, right?
Yeah.
I mean, they are doing that, and then you have people taking dip in the Ganga river. People go to Kedarnath, and there is Gangaji flowing there. People take a dip there, right? And it's literally like 4 degrees Celsius outside, and the water is literally freezing, right? So there is this entire thing in our tradition as well. But I think this just you will be the best people to sort of juxtapose both of them together.
Sure.
Any thoughts on that?
Yeah, no, I think it's pretty prevalent if we talk about just this specific practice of cold therapy, which is what we'd like to call it, whether it's ice bath or dipping into the Ganga, like you rightly said, while it's 3 to 4 degrees Celsius. The health benefits towards exposing yourself to the cold in this manner are quite prevalent, and if you do some research on Google, if you have the time, do sort of look up the benefits of cold therapy, and you'll find for yourself that the benefits are quite immense, and which is some of the things that we're trying to integrate within the Wellness Co as well. And the idea is with cryotherapy, that's what you're sort of doing, exposing yourself to extremely cold temperatures so that the body can have an immune response, which can then help sort of rejuvenate bits and pieces of the body, whether it's aches and pains, whether it's mental fatigue, whether it's anxiety or depression, things like that. The benefits are endless, and that's sort of what we're looking to replicate.
Yeah, and honestly speaking up, when we look at the kind of natural practices that people have been using for hundreds, if not thousands of years, a lot of that is what we are also bringing forward at the Wellness Co. A lot of the practices around, let's say, breathwork or even cold therapy immersion, or even, let's say, heat exposure, etc. These are all things that have existed in nature for hundreds of years, which help people primarily with the 3 kind of major concepts of their biology, which is hydration, oxygenation, and blood circulation. If these 3 things in your body are working at their peak efficiency, if you're really well hydrated, if your cells are really well oxygenated, if they're also, if your blood circulation is working really well, those things are really going to, have a massive impact on your biology, and they'll make you feel better on a day-to-day basis. The reasons why people don't feel so good, why they're carrying around a lot of stress, why they're, let's say, having all these kind of physical imbalances, etc., is because 1, 2, or all 3 of these things are out of balance. And so that is in turn causing their entire kind of, body to be out of balance.
Makes sense. It's funny because the first thing that you do when you start a yoga program as well, you get in closer touch with your body, right? That's the first thing. And both of you have been athletes, right? And post that, you have also experienced this. So there is a quietness that comes. Every time I go and take a Ganga dip, there is a quietness that I have felt, right? Every time, I've also tried ice bath. there's a quietness that you feel, right? And I'm sure I just want you to contrast the quietness that you feel in your mind. And maybe it's not enough practice so far, but still, like you've experienced the quietness of meditation and the quietness of actually sitting in the chamber, and how do the two compare to one another?
Right, sure.
Yeah.
So I think you're absolutely right. There is a quietness that comes with both of these things, but I think it's slightly different with each. And I'll expand on that a little bit. Now that we've sort of been here and experienced the quietness that comes through meditation while being at the ashram, I think it's different because the meditation or the meditative practice or the state that you get into while you are here is much more conscious. You're very aware of what it is that you're doing, which is resulting in a much more peaceful experience in a sense during and post the therapy itself. While as if you compare that to what you do at the Wellness Co, while you're in, let's say, a hyperbaric oxygen therapy machine, you know that you're in there, you're there for a reason, but you're not really that mindful of your breath work at that time, or you're not really entering a meditative state. You're just in there because you know that you have to be there for 45 minutes, which is what is required to enjoy the benefits of it. I think the secret sauce here is if you're able to combine both of these things, for example, right? You come here or you work with somebody from the Art of Living, you learn these programs, you understand how breath work and meditation works. And if you happen to come to the Wellness Co and you do some of these therapies, which take 40 minutes to an hour, and you integrate breath work or meditation while you're doing that therapy, then both of them sort of integrate together and sort of create this very beautiful environment for you to have tremendous benefits for yourself and for your health and well-being. So I think that's what I would say is the situation here. But yeah, both slightly different than each other.
Okay.
Right.
Do you have a view on that as well?
Yeah, I mean, honestly, Rohan pretty much covered all of it. This is something that we're exploring very seriously because when you look at the science behind something like Sudarshan Kriya and behind the Sahaj meditation programs, etc., it's very clear that there is a link to longevity, which is highly present and prevalent in what the data has already shown and what we have also gone through ourselves. So, of course, everything we do at the Wellness Co is highly science-backed. We're very technology-driven in the way that we combine all of our different wellness devices and therapies together, right? We design a personalized health protocol for people that really works in their favor to achieve the kind of health benefits that they are looking for, or that whatever health concerns that they're dealing with, right? So when we look at the science behind something like a Sudarshan Kriya, where we've seen and we've gone through the research where it's actually increased the telomere length in people. Now, telomere length being one of the primary aging indicators. As a person ages and grows older and older, their telomeres, which are the ends of their chromosomes, they actually shorten. And we can see this kind of, rapid decline happening post the age of 35, 40, 45, much more so. And people start aging even faster than what the kind of, biological clock is telling them. So the goal is, how do we reduce this shortening of the telomere lengths? How do we keep people feeling younger and healthier for the longest possible time? A lot of our therapies work alongside similar lines. And so combining something like Sudarshan Kriya is going to be a no-brainer so that we can help even faster kind of, increase that slowdown. Make people feel when they're 45 that they're, have the body of a 30-year-old, or that when they're 50, they still feel like they're 35, or that their body is, allowing them to do all those things that they were doing when they were younger, and they're not really slowing down, but they're able to really thrive as they grow older.
I think there are two parts to the practice. Like I've been practicing now for around 24, 25 years, right? One part to the practice is what you're talking about is the physical part, right? Of not feeling that age, right? Having that energy, right? The other part of the practice is very mental.
Of course.
Right? And which is basically that when we also talk about practice, the practice is equally mental, right? Getting to, and I think a bit of knowledge you were also exposed to, right? That's where the principles, the fundamental principles of how the mind operates come in. Any thoughts on while you were here, something that opened up within you, the challenges that you were facing? Any thoughts on that?
Yeah, sure. So I think what basically happened while I was here over the last 2 days, and obviously we'll continue to be here tomorrow as well. One of the things that's happened is I've really begun to understand the importance of being in a meditative state, because I think what happens is sometimes, as I was mentioned out to me during my what was it called? The test that
The Nadi Pariksha.
Nadi Pariksha. So the doctor said that I tend to overthink quite a bit sometimes, and which is actually true. When he said that, I was quite shocked, because that is generally how I have done things, even with work to some extent. But I think what happens is, and what I have experienced over the last couple of days is, while I've done breath work and meditation, I've found a lot of clarity of thought within myself, and I've found that the day itself sort of becomes a little bit more peaceful, a little more streamlined, and I'm able to make more conscious decisions. And these are decisions that are coming in from within and not just a reactive decision, which I think if I am able to carry into work as well, will have tremendous benefits, because I'm not just reacting to things that happen. As a founder, you would know anything can come up at any time and you have to respond right away pretty much. And if that decision is just done hastily, it might end up being the wrong thing to do for the business. So yeah, if you're able to take some time and think about it, be at peace with yourself, you might come up with a better decision which impacts the business itself in a much better way.
Sure. And for me, I think, honestly speaking, the meditative sessions that we have done, or the kind of journey that we've been on the last few days while being here, even of course taking part in some of these Ayurvedic treatments, which are again something that we're very excited to bring to the Wellness Co and kind of combine together with our science-backed protocols as well. Together, they've kind of formed a whole picture for me, especially of how you can kind of, feel a little more connected with yourself as well. Because I think what happens with founders a lot of the times, and what we personally kind of experience, is we're going at 100 miles per hour every day, right? There's no time to stop.
Yes.
There's no time to kind of take a breath, because like Rohan also mentioned, anything can happen at any time. You have to kind of respond to challenges as and when they come up, and a lot of things get left behind, or you start feeling like you're running behind this train which is running away from you. But that's not necessarily the case, right? So having that time to reflect and think about, how far you've come in your own journey, be able to take a longer view on things as well, and think about where you're going, rather than just kind of, responding to the next thing. So I think that is something which is very important, which a lot of people who come to the Wellness Co also experience very similar feelings, right? Where they feel like things are kind of out of their hands, or things are running away from them, and they're not able to gain control in their life. But it's a question of, finding that within yourself, rather than looking for an external kind of validation. So if you're able to get to that point and you have that clarity, it'll improve your decision making, improve your cognitive clarity, and you'll be able to put together, long-term strategies that really work not only for your companies or whatever kind of, organization you're benefiting, but for yourself as well.
Got it. I mean, see, there is a lot of skepticism around spirituality in general, right? And I think you must have mentioned science around once in every answer that you've spoken about. The principle of science is prove it first and then I'll believe it. Right? The whole principle of spirituality is you have to believe it first.
Have faith,
yeah, you have to have faith first, right? You have to first practice, sit down for a practice. Once you sit down for a practice, you feel it, right? And then that's when you believe it, right?
Sure.
So what would you tell to a skeptic who's sitting on the edge and he's like, guys, this is not for me, right? Right? Because you've literally carved this entire path for yourself, being an athlete, then starting up in that domain where you basically learning more and more about your own body, and collecting data about so many other people's systems, right? So how would you address that skeptic?
Sure. Yeah. So I mean, if anyone is skeptical of this, and as you mentioned, it is true that there are many people that are on the fence about it, maybe don't want to believe it, don't have faith in it. But if you take it from us, we've sort of been on this journey of building a tech-driven wellness startup, which is completely science-based, which you're aware of, and all of the therapies that we're currently offering are backed through science, right? But we ourselves are here experiencing this for ourselves and speaking to you very candidly about the benefits that we felt. And it's something that you just have to believe. If you are able to believe it, experience it for yourself, I'm pretty sure that you will see benefit in it, like I have seen and like my brother has seen. So yeah, it's something that if you're on the fence about, you should absolutely come to the ashram. If you can't make time, just connect with somebody that you can speak with from the Art of Living, or even through the Wellness Co, because these programs will be offered through us now pretty quickly as well. And yeah, you'll see the benefits for yourself. I think combining both of them is sort of the way to go and the way to move forward. And yeah, I think that's been generally my experience. I'd like to know what you will feel as well.
Sure. I mean, speaking about dealing with kind of skeptics and people who are kind of on the fence about things, I think Rohan and I have a lot of experience in this domain, because when we started the Wellness Co in 2021, no one really knew what we were doing or why we were doing, because in India, these therapies had never really been experienced before. No one had really talked about them. There was no knowledge.
It's only now Brian Johnson has become like a cult figure here.
So we were just speaking about it before the podcast. Also,
there was skepticism when we started.
There's always a lot of skepticism that people come to us also with all sorts of questions about what does this really work? What's the science behind it? Or why? Like, is it just like you're recommending because you have to recommend me something, or is it actually going to work for me? Now, of course, you have people like Brian Johnson, like you mentioned, Andrew Huberman, Peter Attia, a lot of these kind of famous, scientists or even like biohackers and influencers or just celebrities in general who are advocating for these things, right? But if we're really talking seriously and we look at some of the top athletes within India itself or internationally, some of the top kind of, let's say international figureheads, whether it's some of the kind of, world's biggest kind of political leaders, all the way to like, the top industrialists and professionals as well, people are opening up their eyes and turning to these kind of methodologies to improve their own kind of, cognitive abilities, to improve their performance, to make better decisions, not only for themselves, but for their people, for their organizations, for their employees, for the people that are around them, for their teams. So it's definitely worth a very serious look. It's something that I think people can stay on the fence about for only a limited period of time, after which it becomes something which is necessary for their own personal development and for the development of those around them. So I think it's something which is very enriching, something that has to be experienced. Again, you have to have enough faith to at least experience it and trust the doctors and the experts who really know what they're talking about. That's something we advocate for a lot at the Wellness Co. is, speak with an expert. You can be an expert yourself as much as you want to be, and you can research a lot, but people who are qualified, they can really guide you in a correct direction, and they can tell you things about yourself that maybe you even were ignoring. So I think that's very important as a takeaway for me.
Got it. One more thing.
Sure.
I mean, you met, did you meet Gurudev?
Yes, of course.
Right. Do you want to share anything about meeting him?
Absolutely.
and spending time in the ashram per se, right?
Yeah.
The
Sure. No, I think this response could take a long time, but I'm going to try to make it as short as possible. This is the second time that I've actually met Gurudev, and both times I've had a very similar feeling. You would think of him as somebody that's a very prominent figure in the world, considering the things that he's done and accomplished. So you would feel that he has this sort of aura about him, larger than life figurehead that he is, obviously. But when you meet him, it doesn't feel like that. When you meet him, it just feels like it's somebody that you've known for a long time. He's very friendly, very calm, very composed in his demeanor, extremely cheerful, always has a smile on his face when he meets you. And I think this says a lot about his character. With the things that he's done, obviously the list is endless, and his accomplishments are phenomenal. He's built the art of living here completely by himself, along with the wonderful people that work here, such as yourself. So it's quite commendable. But I think spending time with him really makes you understand why he's doing all of this and what it all means. Especially when he shares his knowledge. If you're able to sort of come to one of his satsangs or just listen to him speak, there is a lot of benefit you can take away from the things he says. And I think you also tend to understand how you can view life a little differently. You don't have to let these small things that happen to you bother you so much. You can sort of just look at it as a collective pathway, and you're just looking to sort of go down that journey. So yeah, it's been an honor to meet him. The ashram itself is wonderful. The people here are wonderful. And looking forward to come back.
Yeah. I think in terms of meeting Gurudev, very similar experience to how Rohan had. I think you can feel that kind of positive vibrations and the kind of aura that emanates off of him. I think it's infectious. It's something that you end up taking into yourself, even if you don't want to. It's kind of like an unconscious feeling that happens, right? Because that goodness, that feeling that you don't get from many people in the course of your whole life. You might find maybe a handful of people like that, and so it's an amazing kind of feeling to have, and to feel that warmth that he kind of approaches you with as well. Like Rohan said, it feels like he knows you. Feels like he can see that you have, whether it's a good in your kind of heart and good in your intent, and you're trying to serve others. I think his message to bring people together, to serve others first and foremost, to do good for society, I think that's something that everybody can really aspire to and look up to. So it's a very powerful feeling in that sense. In terms of the ashram, I'll speak a little more about that. I think this space is amazing. It's a beautiful place. I think everyone should come here and experience what all there is to kind of see, and going around just being part of this kind of community, seeing people come here with so much love in their hearts, and trying to be part of something which is bigger than themselves, of course, and share in this message of love. I think there's nothing better than that. And from our perspective, the kind of therapies that we've experienced at Sri Wellbeing, the kind of care with which we've been taken care of, I think everyone, we've noticed multiple times, everyone who's working here has such a huge smile on their face, and they're working with so much passion towards what they're doing, whether it's the kind of therapists and the doctors, and even the caretakers and the caregivers who are working here every day. Everyone is really trying to do their best to provide an amazing service to those who are coming here, and yeah, there's nothing better than that, of course.
Awesome. So I think I'd like to you guys are doing a phenomenal work, right? I mean,
Thank you so much.
people need this, right? I mean, there is just so much stress around, and you're bringing in amazing therapies to help people, get to a point where they can feel a lot better,
Right.
And keep up the good work, and
Thank you
and
so
I
much.
hope you guys really sort of keep your practice, the spiritual practice,
Absolutely.
and the next time we sit down, would love to get your notes on how that has gone.
Absolutely. I think we'll have a lot of exciting news to share very soon as the collaboration between the Wellness Co and Art of Living also gets deeper. I think we're very excited for people to come. And of course, with the ashram being in Bangalore, I think I'd just like to add that, with the Wellness Co, we're there in the heart of the major kind of urban centers in India, where a lot of the kind of, urban troubles are there. Being at the ashram, you feel, of course, you're away from these things and it's a great environment to heal. But we really want to, be as outposts as well to kind of spread this message from where we are in all the kind of major cities, whether it's Delhi, Mumbai, Hyderabad, Chennai, even Bangalore, etc. and beyond. So we hope that people can kind of, come to us and take part in some of these things and get a little more information about it and then, visit themselves.
Thank you. Absolutely.
Thank you so much.
Yeah. No, I think it's been a pleasure to be on the podcast here today with you, and we were hopefully able to share some insightful information with the viewers. And as you said, looking forward to come back, continuing our journey with spirituality and maybe sharing some insights along the way with what we've learned. But yeah, thank you so much for having us.
Thank you for coming.